Another Whimpering Waste just dropped, and I gotta say, this is quite tanky, this is quite rough. I mean, I did not expect this to be so tough, but here we are. With the new tune break mechanic, I think that, they went overboard with, the shilling, and that has hurt the olden characters, the old Renacetan characters, especially Carlotta, who gets L's after L for some reason. Like, I have no idea why. I mean, her voice actress just won an award. Come on, give some praise, give something to Carlotta. But alright, first time, first wave, the usual Augusta Iuno Team comp with Shorekeeper. I tried using Linne, but it wasn't working. Like, tune break as a whole works very good in single target mode, like when you're fighting bosses in Tower of Adversity. But over here in this AoE centered endgame, I felt that it didn't do much. Like, there wasn't that much damage that I was noticing. So my good old Augusta Iuno Shorekeeper just handled it like a pro. 2.9k points. I probably could have gotten more if if Iuno had been S0R1, and if probably Shorekeeper had a weapon as well. But over here only Augusta is S0R1. Iuno is S0R0 on that permanent 5-star weapon, and Shorekeeper is on Call of the Abyss. And obviously, if my ping was lower, I would obviously get more kills, because enemy spawn somehow is related to your ping counter. So the lower your ping, the more enemies spawn. I have no idea why it's that way. I mean, it's hurting people who physically aren't located near the servers, and therefore they are stuck with a degraded version of Whimpering Waste, which, I mean, they should solve this on the back end side. Like, this enemy spawning and all should work on locally on your computer or on your phone. It shouldn't be server related, but whatever. So this one was very easy. The rotation is simple. Start with Augusta, go to Shorekeeper, go to Iuno, go to Augusta, and then do your enhanced ultimate. And then after that, build at least one charge. Even before you start the node, at least have one charge where Augusta has that passive, where if she's out of combat for 4 seconds, she gets one charge. So just stay out of combat for 4 seconds. When you get one charge, start the combat, do your normal rotations, and then whenever you're switching back to Augusta, always have one charge before you outro to Shorekeeper. That is the basic gimmick, because then when you outro from Shorekeeper to Iuno and then from Iuno to Augusta, you will have her enhanced ultimate ready, and you want to use that. That is it. All in all, it was a very easy stage. I mean, this one also, she has a shield token, so it just makes easy. Like, you can even replace Iuno with Morphe and make do with it. So that is it. This one was pretty easy. The second half, because the other two tokens are absolute crap, so the second half is causing major problems. We'll see you there.
Taste my resolve. The hero in the name. Winners win. Here. One strike is enough. In control. Roars of conquest. In control. Sing of my triumph.
Alright, second half. I actually went in first with a Cardathea team, thinking that, I've been using Cardathea for the past many patches, and she always just clears it with a good score, 2.5, 2.6 at times. So I thought maybe it would work. Maybe she can brute force it, and she cannot brute force it. The negative token was actually very helpful to her. Somehow we don't have that. We have a tune break token, which I am using right now because I have Mornye. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the tune break token feels like absolute crap, and Mornye on a whole feels very weak. Like, she's a support, she should buff off break, tune overload, whatever that thing is. But I feel like Linne does a better job at that than Mornye, and it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know why, but Mornye doesn't seem very good right now. Like, maybe it could become better when we get Imith out, but right now I just have major doubts on Mornye. But my good old Lupa and Galbrena carried. none of them have their weapons, so my score is on the lower side. I think I got a 2.1k. Maybe like you can aim around 2000 with this team. It works. Galbrena is on static miss S0R0. Lupa is also on S0R0 and on the permanent broad blade, the 5-star broad blade. The old ones. I don't have any of the new ones except that pistol which Linne has. And Mornye is on Discord. And overall, like, you know, Galbrena and Lupa did most of the damaging, obviously. But still, I mean, the tune break damage didn't really feel a lot. I mean, you can already also see over here in this video, the white damage that you see, that's the tune break damage. That's basically true damage. And I have no idea, it just doesn't feel very nice. Maybe it's the HP inflation, maybe it's the aggressive mobs or whatever, but it just feels very, very bad. And I think that, you know, they should rectify some sort of this, because this Whimpering Waves just did not feel fun. Now maybe this could improve as we get more used to tune break. Maybe when we get more tune break characters, or, you know, maybe an AoE tune break character, something like I'm F2P who's looking to be AoE, and then maybe in the future Sigrika, Lysilla, or maybe somebody else. So just gotta wait and see how they improve on this mechanic. Overall, it's still doable. You can still get 4.5k. Like, it's not that difficult, especially if you have majority of the characters. Monofusion obviously works super well with that permanent token. If you have S0R1s, that would make stuff a lot more easier. Like, a lot more easier. I'm brute forcing 2.1k because all of them are S0R0, and my echoes aren't that great because, you know, farming is hell. So it is what it is. But overall, still very doable, very clearable, and not that difficult. And I got SS. So, like, yeah, I'm not gonna force myself to go triple S because, you know, I know my characters aren't S0R1, so why should I torment myself? But that was it. These were the clears. You can see the builds up ahead, and I hope your Whimpering Waste went well, and I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.
All green. Power levels.
Hopefully, we'll make new findings.
Who gets the bullet? That's your call.
Our hunt never stops.
While the moon cycles, I remain the anchor. While the moon cycles,
Where my blade leads, triumph follows. Where my blade leads, I shall have no one tarnishing victory's honor. I shall have no one tarnish.